Welcome back to a very chilly set. It's cold in here. It was 8 degrees when I got in here this morning, so heater's running and all. That'll help a little bit. Anyways, so some news of the day for all you fine people this morning. It is December. It feels like December. December the 1st, of course. That's how the month starts, is with the 1st. So yeah, Mitch Marner last night became the third Maple Leaf to reach 18 straight games with at least a point. Marner will be looking to eclipse that record and have it all to himself in the next game. Of course, it was pretty close. He almost didn't get there, but he did. So for Marner, that's the good news. And for the Leafs, of course, the good news is they're playing very well right now. Things are clicking for Toronto. And that's really the key, right? They seem to have that rough start, rough points that first month of the season, and then it all gets ironed out and they're okay. My guess is they'll have mostly a decent season. They'll probably have another couple of little 5, 6, maybe 7 game slumps, but it happens to every team. And so for Marner, he has been consistent. He's been excellent. And I mean, there's a reason why when I was deciding which Maple Leaf would I want to have a jersey with the name on the back, which player would I rather have, I picked Marner. I think that he is, I don't know about underrated because of the money he gets paid, but he's an excellent forward, and I'm glad that he is on the cusp of setting a record. At the very least, if he doesn't get a point in the next game, he's tied the record, and that is a tremendous accomplishment. Now, for the Ottawa Senators, today's a big day of sorts. Alex Formenton, who has been negotiating with the Sens, but all reports have been that they're not close on a deal. He has until 5 o'clock Eastern today, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, to sign. If he does not sign by that time, he will not play in the National Hockey League this season. That's both regular season and playoffs. So at that point then, too, it's not like they can trade his rights. They can't trade his rights and have somebody else sign him tomorrow. It's just, that's it, you know. And it's too bad because I like Alex Formenton. I think he's a good forward. But the Ottawa Senators have either they've dug in or he's asking for a price point that they just can't justify, that they're saying, well, no. So, yeah, for Ottawa, they've been very generous with the contracts that have been signed. They've played hardball with Formenton. It'll be interesting to see how this all turns out. So now he wouldn't play this year. What would happen to him next season? Does he sign in the offseason? Almost didn't hit off that sneeze. But, yeah, so the question becomes one of whether or not, Formenton, when does he sign? Does he sign this offseason? Do they trade his rights somewhere after the season's done? It's interesting that of all the players that they've had to sign, this is the one that they've had problems with. Jacob Chychrun, who has a very decent cap hit for his contract. I do think that his trade value has improved with his play since his return. I think he's playing some of the best hockey he has in a couple of seasons. Last season wasn't really a great year for him, but he looks good right now. And so I would say that if he can get past the 10-game mark and still keep his play up to that level, that's going to increase a lot of interest in him. I would imagine there are teams that want to wait and see how well he plays for probably a month, I would think, and then those offers start coming in. And we'll see if that affects the trade market too. Maybe Chychrun being acquired by one team would force a rival to pick up somebody else, right? So Chychrun's playing quite well. I think he'll end up getting them those multiple first-round draft picks, both in terms of draft picks and prospects that qualify as first-round equivalent. I think they're going to get it. I do. I think that demand's going to be there, and there are enough teams right now having problems on the blue line, whether it's through injury or just through play, that Chychrun's probably going to end up on the move. So the Chicago Blackhawks have placed Jared Tenorti on the IR. It's a hip injury. That's too bad. Tenorti was playing, I would argue, the best hockey of his career as a Chicago Blackhawk. They've also recalled Ian Mitchell in light of putting Tenorti on the IR. So this gives Mitchell a chance to jump into the lineup and maybe earn himself a spot, right? Mitchell was a highly thought of prospect as recently as I would say a couple years ago, but it feels like that's dropped off now. And so we'll see how things work out for him and how long Tenorti's out, right? IR means as little as a week, and if it's retroactive, it can only be a few days too. So we shall see. Patrick Laine could be returning to the lineup for the Columbus Blue Jackets tomorrow. They absolutely miss him. The one thing with Laine is, much like Chychrun in Arizona, can he stay in the lineup? Can he avoid, ending up back on the IR for that same reason or for another reason? So Laine getting back in the lineup would be big for the Columbus Blue Jackets. It would be an improvement in their goal scoring, and might very well help that their lineup would be more towards what was expected before the season started. It's been a rough first quarter for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Laine's injuries have not helped. Robert Thomas likely to return tonight for the St. Louis Blues. The Blues are a team too that they need all hands on deck, so getting Thomas back into the lineup would be good for them. Probably the best pure passer in their lineup. I don't know that there's much debate on that, but I'll say in their lineup, and I would argue one of the best pure passers in the league. I like Thomas quite a bit, and so seeing him back in the lineup for St. Louis, that should make for some fun. The Canucks have announced they're going to induct Roberto Luongo into their Ring of Honor. There's some debate about whether or not they should retire his number. I think Ring of Honor is fine. I think you can still retire his number at a later date if you want, but I don't think you have to retire his number. But he is going into the Hall of Fame, so he's in the Hall of Fame. So with this being the year he went into the Hall of that he's gone into the Hall of Fame. See, it just happened. So anyway, but yeah, if they were going to retire his number, you would think this would be the time. But they're going to induct him into the Ring of Honor next season, I do believe. So I think that'll be great. Luongo was a great ambassador for the Canucks and put up with so much while he was a Vancouver Canuck. He really, really did. Bit his tongue quite a bit, I think, when he was playing for the Canucks, and we appreciate that. Vancouver fans should, anyways, appreciate that. But yeah, so him going into the Ring of Honor, I think that'll be enjoyable. It'll be interesting to see if I can get to that game and watch that ceremony. I'm gonna go ahead and say I doubt it. If next year's scheduled like this year, it's gonna be more crazy nights, and they'll probably schedule it for one of those really crazy busy nights. But yeah, so they're also having the Hall of Fame night tonight in Vancouver. They're playing against Florida, so that means Luongo would be going out and being recognized by the Canucks, while Florida's there as well. So Luongo will be around a lot of former teammates tonight, and it should make for an entertaining ceremony. But it also does mean if you're going to the game, this may push back the start time, because you got three guys that they've got there. The Sedins are always there. Luongo coming out on the ice. It could be a long ceremony to start the game. We'll see. And maybe it'll be 5 minutes. Maybe it'll be 10. Could be half an hour, right? When the Oilers inducted a couple of guys into their Hall of Fame about a month ago now, that ceremony went on for, I think it was 20 minutes. So it could go on for a while. So for the Islanders, Palmieri's been placed on IR. Clutterbuck is day-to-day, so injuries always crop up. And then you get to see what kind of depth the team has. And I think the recalls for the Islanders should fit in well enough. Cole Bardreau, who's been called up before. Bardreau, I think, is a decent enough fill-in. Obviously not a guy who plays in the NHL regularly, but as a fill-in he can work. And Hudson Fasching. So we'll see how things work for the Islanders. A team that really relies on that four-line structure and has for a very long time. But Palmieri, we'll see how long he's out. Clutterbuck day-to-day shouldn't be out that long. And for the Islanders, I think they have the depth to absorb those losses. Of course, for Toronto, this was announced yesterday that Yarncroke is going to miss, and they're just saying it's a significant amount of time with a groin injury. This falls into the line of it's awful timing for Yarncroke. It felt like he was starting to play really pretty darn well for Toronto, and now he's going to be out for, from the sounds of it, it's going to be a significant portion of time. And they may be just trying to figure out exactly what's going to be done and what they can do about it. But let me know what you guys think regarding any of these items on the board. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.